What's going on, people? We are back again with another freaking video, and this one right here is all about the outtakes. Literally everything that happened at the very end of the episode, everything that everybody had to say has their goodbye words. So let's check out what was said and definitely talk about it. Come on now.
I think Mary has a very big controlling aspect to her. Insecurities, her overthinking, as I put it, is really what made us toxic.
You know what, though? I mean, obviously, okay, it's good that he's able to point it out, but it's a shame that he wasn't able to point himself out too. I mean, listen, obviously Mary's toxicity comes from herself and herself alone, but also at the same time, though, Brandan has to recognize that if he feels like Mary is the person to blame for the toxic energy that comes from them, he needs to then realize that maybe she's not the one for him. Because really and truly, no one should be in a relationship with somebody and feel like, well, you are the problem. You know what I mean? Like, if anything, there can be moments where you are the problem, and then there's moments where you're the problem. Do you see what I'm saying? You know, it's tick for tack. But if you feel like one person is always the issue, always the problem, always the one creating the environments, but then clearly that person isn't for you, because that person is there to legit ruin your state of mind, to legit ruin your mental health. So really and truly, while Brandan is talking about, you know, how Mary is the reason for the toxic energy, which I don't disagree with, he has to reflect on, is this energy that Mary gives him good enough? Is this energy going to be good enough for him to want to be with her for the rest of his life? You know, because one thing that they obviously haven't really thought about, or at least Brandan hasn't thought about, is that he came from a life of mayhem and he's now entered a new life of mayhem. And also on top of that, he has now got a new child into a life of mayhem. He has to recognize the pattern of his own life and he has to want to do better. And Mary doesn't seem to be the person to help him do better. You know what I mean? And also at the same time, Brandan doesn't seem to be the person to make Mary do better. In fact, actually, no, that's wrong. With Mary, it doesn't matter who she's with. She needs to be with, she needs to improve herself first before she even touches anyone else. Brandan, on the other hand, he's somebody that can probably benefit from being someone that's a good role model to him, to a woman that's going to hold him down and legit. But obviously in the tale, his mom did say that Mary is the first person in his life ever to treat him better than anybody else, which is very annoyingly concerning, because you see, that means that the bar for someone to come in his life and treat him good is very, very freaking low. And when the bar is that low, that is not a good thing, especially long term. But hey, it is what it is.
She's posting a lot of sexy pictures too. I don't judge her because that's her life and this is my life. Because of Brandan's mom's advice, I'm gonna try doing the therapy so I can focus more on myself.
So obviously that was Mary beginning to talk about Shekinah, talk about how she doesn't feel like Shekinah should be judging her for being online and shaking her booty, considering that Shekinah's online, you know, showing off her assets. So, I mean, listen, fair enough, obviously, you know, she can use it as an argument, but what she's missing to understand it, or failing to understand, is that the reason why people came and criticized you about your videos is because you don't want Brandan looking at other women, you wouldn't like him searching for other women. It's the fact that your behavior is hypocritical. That's the bottom line. Shekinah's isn't. She's with somebody that wanted to show herself off, so it's two different conversations. But obviously Mary will always look for the dumbest thing possible to defend her case, and that's never going to be a healthy thing. It's never going to be a good thing. So Mary really needs to work on that. You know what I mean? She needs to work on the fact that her actions are based on her being a hypocrite, not based on anything else but that. But also at the same time, I like the fact that she acknowledges that Brandan's mom did decide to praise her, which was a very good thing to see. But also at the same time, is Mary going to take therapy? Is Mary going to take therapy seriously? Well, I can tell you this right now, no, because clearly we are seeing them online and in real time. And to be fair, we can evidently see that Mary has not taken any steps to seeing a therapist or to getting help or anything. And to be fair, like Sarpa said, you can easily get a therapist online. You don't have to go to the one in your local village where therefore you end up becoming embarrassed. But either way, though, Mary talks about doing better. Let's be real. That better is never coming, or at least not anytime soon. So therefore, I feel sorry for Midnight.
Every experience that Sarper and I go through, we come out of it stronger. And that's how I know that we're not in a toxic relationship. You know, like, difficult times don't hurt.
Oh, yeah, this one was a mad one. You know what? I'm going to keep it a buck. I got one word for this woman. Delusional.
I'm glad it's over.
I think that he's gaslit you for so long that's why you dug in so deep to find out the truth, because you had to prove it to yourself.
Okay, Holly. I mean, listen, yes, we can talk about how Johan has gaslit Danielle for so long. But let's not forget, though, Danielle is a 40-plus woman. 40-plus years woman dating with a man who is 30-plus, right? And she's the one that always portrayed herself to be the smartest person in the room. So does it really matter how much Johan may have gaslit her? Because if you ask me, Danielle chose to stay with him regardless of how he treated her. She speaks about relationships as if she's like the guru of it. But you can't speak about relationships as a guru, and then when it comes to it, you can't leave one that is not good for you. So to be honest with you, I wouldn't even use Yoan's excuse of gaslighting her as anything, because she had a choice to walk away, but no, she kept justifying the relationship.
Like, it's my fault, it's my fault, it's my fault, this marriage doesn't work. And so like I needed evidence that proved that like, this isn't me. This is really nice to have an entire room say that they believe my story, that they
Bingo. Bingo, bingo, bingo. You know, Danielle just wanted other people to make her feel good. That's what it is. She knew that she could have left this relationship a long time ago. She knows that she should have. But nah, she has to have evidence. No, she has to have an audience. Okay? Because she wants other people to enable her and say, yes, you was right this whole time. Literally, I felt like Danielle stayed in this relationship just to prove a point, to be honest with you. I said it already before in the video that involves Danielle and Yoan. If you haven't seen it, you hear exactly what I had to say about it anyway, in terms of the fact that I felt like she stayed in it to prove a point. So please check out that video and you'll find out what point I'm talking about. But obviously, if you've already seen it, then you know what I'm talking about. So yeah.
believe that this man cheated on me. I think it was real for him. I didn't know the real him. I never knew the real him. I mean, it was, but I'm glad that it's all out and I'm done.
I'm just glad you two are finally over. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I'm at this moment, I have nothing tying me down. Goodbye, New York!
I would go to South Africa in 2 months. I meant that. But also, like, we have to be in a good place. Like, I can't just go, if he's not gonna, like, call me or there's no communication, I'm obviously not gonna hop on a plane and...
I look like...
You know what though? Okay, I understand where she's coming from, but listen, if you tell somebody you'll be back in 2 months, you go back in 2 months. It's just that simple. No excuses. I mean, you can have excuses, but like in this situation, no excuses, because her excuses are a bit ridiculous. She's chatting nonsense.
An idiot. I mean, I think people think I'm the biggest ass. But seeing Holly tonight, I mean, we know the emotional state she's in.
It's hard to trust someone when you're in your darkest moments and you feel kind of like they turn their back on you.
Holly, you were always in your dark moments, but she did recognize that maybe, you know, he feels the same because he was also in his dark moments. So I give her credit for acknowledging that, yes, maybe he felt the same as her because he was also in dark moments. But boy, the question is, are you going to jump on the plane or not?
I don't know what's going to happen, but I do believe we could work it out.
Trust is something that once it's broken, it's very difficult to build again. And for the 4 months leading up to our breakup, that's what trust with Kirsten.
Okay, cool. I understand that once trust is broken, it's something that you have to build up again. But here's the thing, buddy. When trust is broken, you're supposed to leave the relationship or try and at least fix it. You didn't try and leave the relationship. You stayed in the relationship and then found somebody else. Let's keep it a buck. Like, don't.
Unfortunately, the communication wasn't there. I felt like we really weren't moving forward.
I love TJ. I want to spend my life with him. But at this point, I have to put myself first. Well, I'm not going back to India for a while. I'm not going back for at least 4 months. I'm spending time with my family.
I mean, listen, sometimes you got to make the right choices for yourself, so I respect it.
If I went back to India today, I'd be very sad, honestly. At this point, I don't know if I can count TJ in my plans for the future. Realistically, I don't know where to put him.
Well, that is not a good sign. That is not a good ending, is it now? But I know currently right now they are together because literally they went live together today, you know what I mean? So yeah. And I will be making footage on that at some point as well. But either way though, at the end of the day, you know, Kimberly, to be honest with you, you're never going to be happy living with him in India. You may love him, you may want to be with him, but in India, I don't think it's a possibility. And that's just that. You've got to be realistic with yourself. Sometimes people learn, sometimes people don't learn. For her, she's somebody who claims to learn from her mistakes, but clearly she doesn't. But nonetheless, though, let me know what you're thinking. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.